I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. I have a theory. I do. We were kicking around some theories earlier, me and the team, and we were going, how could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen? Going after college universities, trying to suppress speech, while pretending that you're not suppressing speech, while pretending that you're fighting DEI. It's so messy, it's so obvious. Everyone knows what you're doing. People who are still trying to grift, I suppose, are not willing to challenge you on this, which is ridiculous, because when you are out of office, we are gonna have to live with these consequences. Our children are going to have to grow up in this America, okay? So when you threaten our speech, it's not worth it so that we can have pom-poms and go hurrah for a couple of years, then go, okay, well, yeah, now it kind of stinks because, we're getting arrested for wrong think.
Yeah, Candace, he's not concerned about post office politics. He doesn't plan to leave. Put it up full mass. Candace Owens has always been an avid supporter of Donald Trump. The far-right commentator religiously stands 10 toes down for the Trump administration and often dominates headlines for dangerous rhetoric, including blaming George Floyd for his own death, labeling Black Lives Matter as a terrorist organization, and also to some degree defending Harvey Weinstein. But a clip shared on TikTok of Owens describing how, quote, the Trump administration is fighting against free speech in America. And that is very sad to me to say and to report as someone who's been a supporter of Donald Trump. It is now going viral. Keep that picture up. Candace, when you supported Donald Trump coming after the free speech of Black Lives Matter, that was a sign. When you supported Donald Trump coming after the speech of liberal or progressive commentators or networks, that was a red flag. When you supported Donald Trump saying that certain media companies should no longer exist, and when he decided to sue social media agencies for deplatforming him, even though those are private companies, not the government, those were red flags. And all of a sudden, Candace, you have come to the conclusion that this administration is in the business of violating free speech. It did not just start. That's the point. Quote, we cannot allow our rights to be infringed upon. And if you think it's going to stop with college campuses, you're out of your mind. That's right, Candace. She continued. Her mention of college campuses is in reference to Harvard University, who is suing the Trump administration for threatening to withhold federal funding if the school did not comply with this list of demands. Quote, so you better buck up and root for Harvard University in this fight. You better hope they defeat the Trump administration, Owens says. It's not anti-Semitism, it's anti-Catholic. Owens went on to imply that Trump is doing the bidding of Israel. Here it is.
They're talking about student groups that did not get violent, but are opposed to Israel's agenda, which is totally fair because this country is not Israel. It's not Israel. You are totally allowed to critique Israel. I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. It's telling them that these people need to be suspended, that they can't be allowed on campus. Again, making us think that Bibi Netanyahu must be the president of the United States and Trump has no idea what's going on. And I tend to think that there is a person who tells Trump that the press is favorable, that they love this, that people are loving this. Trump's not on YouTube. He's not on X. He says something to someone and they tweet it. Somebody decides what articles to put in front of him every morning. I know that for a fact, okay? So he who is picking that article, he who is telling him what tweets to look at is the person that is shaping Trump's understanding of what his base feels.
Yeah, I understand. Trump is an incompetent leader. Right? Okay. All right. I can roll with you on that as well, Candace. You see, Candace, if you would have listened, if the collective would have listened to Black folk during the Black Lives Matter movement, hell, if you just would have listened to King in the 1960s, if you would have listened to Black people at any time, we have been the moral compass for this nation and the mirror for you. We wouldn't be here today. But you decided not to. So here we are. The lawsuit, per ABC News, is asking a judge to block the funding freeze because the move is unlawful and beyond the government's authority. University lawyers claim the administration is actually violating the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and is unlawfully using the funding as leverage to gain control of academic decision-making at Harvard. The very principle, the fundamental dynamic of the Constitution, of your freedoms, suggest the government cannot utilize their disagreement with you as a reason to punish you, because you have the right of free, protected speech. And that speech cannot be infringed upon by the government. You're dealing with an administration that sued because a private company, a social media platform, deplatformed Donald Trump, and he claimed that to be discriminatory. But the Constitution wasn't written for X or YouTube or Instagram. It was written for the government, and the restrictions are there for the government. The government is in violation of those restrictions. Earlier this month, the Trump administration says the Ivy League institution failed to confront anti-Semitism on campus. In response, they decided to freeze a $2.2 billion grant or grants, $60 million in contracts, and plans to yank an additional $1 billion in medical research funding. There you have it. We are going through emails after emails every week at the university I teach at. Why? Because this administration is so fragmented in how it's doing policy. There's a new update, a new change. There's a refocus, a rebranding. There's a, oops, we got that wrong. We're going to correct it today. This is happening constantly. Academic institutions have had no time to prepare for this at all. All right, Wosny, thoughts here?
I just want to say one thing. While I'm happy Candace Owens is finding religion on the absurdity, I think she follows the same trend that so many people on the right do whenever Donald Trump does something ridiculous, hypocritical, evil. Oh, we hate the policy, but we know it's the people next to him doing it.
Right.
They can never directly address Trump and say, bro, you're screwing this up. You're behaving like a moron. You're behaving like they just can't bring themselves to do it. I just want to get that out the way because that pisses me off when they do this. Like down to a man, all of these influencers, whoever it is, Steve Bannon, all of these guys, they'll be like, oh, but it's Elon. Oh, but it's it's AIPAC and Miriam Adelson. Oh, but they will never go straight at Trump. That gets on my nerves. But second, I think what we're seeing, Dr. Richey, and I'm on the record. I've had my critiques of some of the worst excesses of the quote unquote woke left that have happened in the past 7 years, right? I think sometimes it went a little overboard and it honestly gave the right wingers a lane to use it as a wedge and sort of alienate voters against some genuinely good stuff because of some of the excesses. Cool. However, all of these right wingers, they made their bones. They got rich off of this stuff.
Yep.
Candace Owens got rich off of railing against standpoint theory, off of railing against, lived experience, off of railing against DEI, off of railing against all of that. For in the next instance, These same right-wing institutions who were so anti-woke and purging everything of DEI, now it's DEI for Israel. And to the extent that, like, we're talking about like pulling funding and, to talking about, yo, we want y'all to put MAGA instructors in there and all of that. Like, these Ibrahim X. Kendi couldn't dream of these kind of policies, okay? And so to like, on a dime, I think that's what these right wingers are brushing up against. It's like, come on, guys, I have to have some credibility. I've been railing against making special exemptions for ethnic or minority or marginalized groups for years. I've cultivated an audience for years behind this principle. And now you're telling me I should want to do it for Israel? It's just, it's like, if they would have did this in 2 years and rolled this out, it would have been one thing. But to start your first day in your administration with anti-DEI presidential orders, executive orders, and then be like, no, but special exemption for Israel. Right. Like, that's what I think we're seeing here. It's just the hypocrisy is just too much at this point.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's obviously not Israeli citizens, it's the Israeli government.
Of course, the Israeli regime.
That's right.
Of course.
That's right. You can stand for people without standing for their military industrial complex to kill. All right, we're going to bring you updates as they come.